Okay, I'll wait a few minutes. See if anybody shows up, or if I'm just going to talk to myself, because I'm good at doing that. And I don't see comments. I'm cold, so I'm gonna cover up. And if nobody shows up in a couple minutes, then I'm just gonna go ahead and start. And I will explain as if people were nice enough and awake enough to join me. But it's okay. I'm a night owl, so this is when I usually do all my cups. That's just, yeah, I've always been like that. It's been worse since my dad passed away. That's been a year in November, but yeah, so now I tend to sleep even worse. Oh, I shouldn't have that in that. Hi Kimberly, hi Megan. Okay, so I had been asked about my wood grains in another group, but being as I'm Canadian, I'm going to share with you guys first, and then I'll just share my video there. So this is my wood grain cup. These cups I got from Lynn Crawford's buy-in. It's the 9 ounce. It's really hard to see. So I actually have 6 of these that I'm working on for an order. They come with a lid. I prefer a lid that is leak proof, but it still works to keep bugs out. And I really like them. So I've already went ahead and primed my cups with a flat white paint. That's just my preference. I know some people say they can use satin. I find the flat looks better to me. That's how I feel about it. I'm going to move that. My Dixie cup is leaking. So I have a little Dixie cup with some rubbing alcohol in it, just in case I have any mistakes that I want to correct, or if I want to lighten something up. I am going to be using the Tim Holtz alcohol ink. This one is the Teakwood. It's my favorite. I'm only using one color. I still managed to achieve the knots and the different layering and depth, I guess. I have gauze. This is what I use. I've tried the brushes so many times and I hate them. They never look right, and I get frustrated and I wipe it all off and start over again, which is one thing I like about alcohol inks. If you don't like it, you can just wipe it off with alcohol and you start over. So I have the rolls left over, but you can also get gauze pads. I got them at Walmart, squares of them. Just make sure they're non-adhesive, and you can just cut them into smaller squares. So I've already cut some into small things, easy for me to hold, just in case. So I will tilt you down. I may not be able to see any comments or questions, so I apologize, but I will go back after and try to answer them if I miss them. I will try to angle it so that I can see, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing as well. So I'm going to tilt you down without hopefully knocking over my phone. Okay, so there is my cup. This is my Teakwood. Can everybody hear me okay? Because I'm not seeing any comments. I'll start with the bottom first. So the bottom, I normally just apply a bit. Grab my gauze, scrunched up, and I just wipe. And it does dry really fast, so you can kind of keep working with it, but you'll end up having to apply more. Hi, Kimberly. Okay, I see comments. I feel better now. I just prefer to get the bottom over with. It never looks as nice as the sides. I do find there's a groove in the bottom of these, so I do try to make sure the ink goes inside it. Either that or it ends up with a white ring. To do a knot, I'll put just a smaller amount. Now I want to blow on it a little to help speed up the drying, and then I'm just pulling lightly. And once it's dried enough, then I can actually wipe over it a little bit more to give it a bit more of a grainy look to it. So I went ahead and did that. So now I'll start with the sides. I just apply right to the cup. And it starts to run. Not a big deal. You catch it and you just start wiping. And the way I'm pulling, hopefully you can see the wood grain showing up. It'd probably go faster with brushes, but as I said earlier, I just never got the hang of them. And I just got frustrated, and I just felt like I was wasting a lot of ink because I would end up wiping it down. So already there, because of the overlap of me doing it at kind. My matte white, the paint I use is the Krylon. When I do finish it, I usually let it sit for a day before I seal it, and I usually seal it with the Mod Podge sealer, the spray sealer. But spray from far away and kind of let it mist over top of it the first coat, because if you spray too close to it or too much, it's going to run or it's going to turn your cup green, and obviously that's not what you want. So I just keep going all the way around, focusing on the top. I didn't bring my spray paint up. Being as it's winter and crappy out, I have to spray paint in my basement. I don't do it very often because then it makes my house stink and then I get a migraine. So, and my husband doesn't really appreciate it very much. Neither do my kids, but I told them when they build me a she shed outside that's heated, then they won't have to worry about it. So maybe that'll be next year. Hey, Leah. So I don't think I need to recap. I use medical gauze. I hate the brushes. Tried the brushes, got annoyed with the brushes. Just wasted a lot of ink using the brushes. I know some people do multiple colors of the different browns. I do have other ones you can see in the background. Caramel, butterscotch, espresso, latte. Espresso was very dark, but I find I can achieve depth and some layers without having to use multiples. Sometimes I do. Actually, what I'm doing for these ones, I should have grabbed it, is I took a square sheet of a matte white vinyl, and I used a lighter color. I think it was latte. I'll add a photo to the comments of it, and I've done a wood grain look on it. It has to be the matte white though, it won't stick to the glossy. So I'm going to use that to add the words to it, instead of the fear of applying a decal and then having to pull it off and worry about it peeling my first coat off. So that was something I saw in another group and figured I was going to do that instead, because it would save me the headache of possibly having it mess up. So yeah, and with doing a bit of the overlap, I can get good grooves, but I find the squares I like the wood grain look I get with it. It's smooth in spots, still grainy in spots. It's really hard to see. I tried to set up lights properly, but I will post a photo of it in the comments when I'm done. I'll try to get a good picture of it. I got a photo box today, so I'm so excited. Was playing with it, trying to get some pictures of all my cups. Got them on my business page. Hopefully I can sell some, because we got some crappy news today with our job. So any questions so far? I can see the comments, so I can try to answer as I go here. Oh, okay. Thanks, Leah. I wasn't sure. I craft wherever, so I don't have a devoted craft space. When my son moved out, I said I wanted his old room, and my husband kind of beat me to it and claimed it as his TV room. So we never watched TV in bed, so he took the TV from our bedroom and took our old couch and put it in our son's old room. Yes, it is alcohol ink. It's the Tim Holtz. It's the Teakwood color. That's the only color I'm going to use. And then I'll show you in a second once I get this coat done. I buy either a roll of gauze and then just cut off strips, or you can get gauze pads. Just make sure they're non-adhesive ones, and I just cut them into smaller sizes that I need, because I don't need a lot. Like when I cut them, that's all I'm cutting off, and then I'm just folding it up. I'll seal with epoxy, yes, after I've used the Mod Podge spray. I am finding, like, I did use the Krylon flat white to do my base. So I probably could use the Krylon clear sealer, but I'm always paranoid the first coat. I had a couple that had some runs in it, which one I had to strip to start over, but the other one it didn't turn green, and the runs actually added a bit more character, so I just kind of rolled with it. So yeah, with it overlapping just a bit, it adds its own character and depth, and I just look for the spots where it's a little lighter. And I'm going to use the same square for the whole thing. Once I get it completely covered, then I'll see how I can do with knots. Because of course, now that I'm doing a live, they probably won't want to come out the way they normally do. Just to make a liar out of me. Even without knots, I really like that. So just like I did on the bottom, oh, I might wipe that a little too, since the bottom came around. Just even it out a little. So I want to do a knot. This looks like a pretty big area that is not as textured. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. I'm going to bunch this up a little more. I'm going to blow on it to kind of spread it out a little and to speed up the drying. And then I just lightly pull at it. And then I want it to dry a little more before I pull any more. So of course now it's not gonna play as nice as it would, but there's a smaller knot. Yeah, from what I'm understanding from what I'm reading, it is the sealers. Some people say, like, if you use a Krylon, you should stick to Krylon for everything. So if you use it as your base, you should use it as your sealer if you're using a sealer. But I find if I use the Mod Podge, I just use the matte acrylic spray. And sometimes that I can even have issues with, but not as often. And as long as I start that first coat from really far away and it's basically just misting, like, I'll set the cup down and I'm just letting it kind of mist over top of it. I'm not directing the spray at the cup. And I find as long as I do that, then I'm usually good. And then I let that dry, which is usually 5-10 minutes, and then I'll spray it again. And sometimes I do a third. I don't wipe down with alcohol before my first coat of epoxy, because sometimes it hasn't completely sealed. So then I end up wiping off my alcohol ink, which is counterproductive. Yeah, so that's how I do it. That's going to be a huge knot. I just kind of want to smudge it up. I don't want to drag it the whole length. Thanks, Amy. I normally, like, I was doing two, and then it was just kind of I was playing around the one day and I realized I can still get layers and a multi-tone all with one. So I was like, why wouldn't I just do that? Because it saves me having to switch back and forth and be worried that I'm going to drop one or worry about my dogs going crazy and getting in my way. I locked them in the bedroom with my husband because he's gone to bed. We're supposed to go to Simgo tomorrow to build bikes and barbecues and patio sets. That is was our other job. We're finding out today that Walmart is ending their contract with the company that we work for. So we're not sure what happens after February 1st. I don't really like that one. It's really long. I want to try to do a circle one, so I don't need a lot. Might look good there. Do a smaller dot. Oop, that spread the wrong way. I need a camera from above so you guys can see what that did. So this is going to be a big knot. It started running away. But that might not look too bad. And you just keep working it how you like it. Like, I just keep going over it until I'm happy with it. I might add a little more to the bottom of this to kind of pull it together. But it wants to run. And I can just kind of run it into the first knot that I made and pull down. Holy crap, 150 of them. Yeah, it'd definitely go a lot faster if you can figure this out. Oh, no, I don't envy you. I would not want to be doing that many. So there, I kind of extended it, which maybe ruined the character of it. Yes, Kimberly, that's what I love. They're actually so easy, and it's not a lot of ink, so I still, like, I don't feel like I'm wasting a lot of money. It's just time consuming because I'm kind of picky, so that sometimes works against me. I've stripped some cups that, you know, my family has said, oh, that's beautiful, I love it, and I'm just like, oh, I don't see it, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't used wood graining tools. I was actually thinking about that the other day because I was out looking for rose gold paint for a base for a water bottle I have to do. Of course, now that I want rose gold paint, I can't find it. I live in a really small town, so I have to see if my husband can maybe find some tomorrow. Because I would really like to get this water bottle done. It's for a friend, for her daughter, but she just got signed by modeling agencies, so she's all excited, and she's 14. She's a beautiful girl, very kind heart. Her family's great. But I need rose gold paint. Yeah, I haven't tried the extenders either. I do have a bunch of the inks, but I haven't bought the extenders. I finally have the pearl white. Yeah, it really doesn't take long at all. Like, these are my favorite to do. So that's kind of why some of them, what I did was after I sealed them a little, because they're my favorite, I then, maybe I could do that another night with different cups. I need to order more of these. What I did was after I'd sealed it, I used Mod Podge and just drew lines on it, and then sprinkled, actually I think I used rose gold and veins onto it. Oh, I should have brought that cup in here. I can add a picture if somebody wants me to add a picture of that as well, because I wanted the wood grain seems something, you know, to try to appeal to the men, but adding just a little bit of glitter, then it's kind of feminine too, even though if you get them to pick their own saying, whether it be their name or even the color of vinyl that they decide on. Okay, I'll definitely add the picture of that. I have 2 of them. Or if you want, you can look on my business page, Maya Bella Designs. I did add a bunch of pictures there tonight because I was playing with my new photo box thing. I like that one. I'm gonna say that's done. Well, maybe not. I don't think I like this one. I'm gonna kind of play with that one a little more. See if I can bring it down a little more or fatten it somehow, because some knots are big, so sometimes I'll swirl. So am I the only one that now that they've started doing cups and they've started joining a bunch of different cup groups, that they never know what's going on in their family anymore because they don't show up on their Facebook feed? It ends up being all cups. And then it ends up me going, ooh, I should do that. Oh, I should do that. And then I'll go to my mom's and she'd be like, oh, did you hear about this? Nope, sorry. I saw nothing because my Facebook feed is full of cups. So yeah, I am going to say that is done. I wish I actually had a turner so that I could do a better video after, but I'm going to leave that alone. Using just one color, only the Teakwood, I was able to add different tones and depth, and I'm pretty happy with it. If you guys want, I can do my second one. I don't have to, because I do have one more to do for this set. They are really fun, Kimberly, and really, like, there isn't really any way to screw it up. Like I said, like, I prefer the medical gauze. I don't know why. I tried the brushes, and I couldn't get what everybody else was getting. And we happened to have some gauze left over from, my mom found some at the house from when my dad had hurt his foot. And I was like, well, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to try that instead. Make sure you're wearing gloves. at least on one hand. This hand I got a little bit on. The good thing is I have alcohol and it comes off so much easier. Yes, glitter cups are so messy. Although I did try the epoxy method with the last 3 cups I did, and it's still messy, but I definitely don't feel like I used as much glitter as if I was trying to use Mod Podge, and I dislike using Mod Podge. I find it dries fast, and I end up, when I go to brush it off after it's dry, I seem to lose a lot more glitter than I would expect, and then I end up having to do 2 or 3 coats of glitter, even just doing one color. So I tried the epoxy method, just a very thin coat on my cups, and then sprinkled my glitter on until it wouldn't take any more. Yeah. Basically, you would do like a super thin coat, just basically so that you can see the shine. You know it's there, and then you just sprinkle, and you keep sprinkling until it looks dry, because you'll notice wet spots, or it looks more flat or darker. I sprinkle it, and then I end up having to set it down, take my paper, dump it back into the container, sprinkle again. But I don't think I use as much glitter when I do that method. And it got me more comfortable working with the epoxy. Because I know that seems to be a lot of what holds people back from trying cups. But it's, as long as you have the measurements exact, that's the only problem I've had. As long as you've got that figured out, then it's not as scary either. Do you want me to do the other cup? It just says I only have 2 people here, so at least Kim's talking to me. Thanks! I can do the other one on camera, or I can do it off, and I can go find the one that I added the glitter to it as well. See, Leah, and I don't know. I don't feel like I use as much, because I'll keep track. The ones I did them last week, and then my husband left, and then I just had all that crap happen. Just because he was away. So, and normally I'm more than just tits and makeup, and I can figure crap out for myself, but I was just on overload. It's going on 2? Oh, okay, so you're in a different time zone. Well, thanks for watching, Kim. It's only going on 1 here, so, and I'll probably be up for a while still. Well, and then you're going to want to see me add the picture to the comments. I should have actually ran to get that, because it's not that far away. But so yeah, I'm just going to start on this one. The East Coast. That one I had the paint run a little bit. I don't think it's going to impact it. Probably should have wet sanded it. I forgot about it, that it was there. So I guess I'll see what happens when I'm done. If it's super noticeable, or if I can get away with not worrying about it. Or I'll just put the decal over it, and then nobody will know it was there anyway. Except for me, so. So I like to pull from the bottom up to the top. Then I find I don't end up with near as much inside the top rim of the cup. I like the bit of the overlap, because then it gives the dimension of more woods. The run is in my paint. My base coat, the flat white. If I'd remembered, I would have just lightly wet sanded that area so it wasn't super obvious. I don't think it's going to be really obvious when I'm done. Like, there's a bit of a drip there, but if I'm that concerned about it, these I know I'm putting a decal on, so I'll just make sure the decal goes over it if I don't like the look of it. If there wasn't a decal going on, then I would probably just wipe down this area with alcohol and wet sand it a little, just to get, so that it was flat, because you're not going to see the difference. Like, if you look at my cup, it's not perfectly white. It's not an even coat, but yeah, I'm thinking that too. Candace is fine. Marie is my middle name. I don't like using my last name on Facebook, because then I figured if I get snotty somewhere, then I don't want it linking back to me. This way people can't always figure out who I am. It's like I use my maiden name. A knot on that spot is actually a perfect idea. That's probably what I'll do. Make it a little darker. No, Leah, I tend to not put up with people's crap. And I can be kind of outspoken that way sometimes. So I didn't want that following back to my personal page. Or somebody tracking me down in real life. Or once I had my business page, then, you know, any of my communication, I would say, you know, my name is Candace. Well, they're not going to, from there, figure out who I am. And, like, as the brackets part, like, if you go to my profile, it says Candace Marie, and then in brackets, it's actually my maiden name. Yeah, my mouth tends to get me in trouble sometimes, so. Yes, I can. It's Maya Bella. I will post a link. M-A-Y-A space Bella Designs. It's after my dogs, because we have 2 dogs. We have 3 kids, but my son is 19 and lives in London and works in a kitchen at a hotel and loves it. And then my girls are, oh my goodness, one's going to be 16 in July. She's going to learn how to drive this year. That's kind of scary. And then my other daughter just turned 13 on the 17th. But we already were debating. Thanks. That's good. Yes, it's a poppy on my business page. I added, I can't remember the site I found that from, but it was where you could use their images how you want. So you didn't have, it was like a free, like a crafting license, or I can't remember the exact terminology that they use. Basically, I don't have to worry about anybody coming after me because I used that picture. It's a free-for-all. Anybody can use that picture though, so I do have to worry about that. I would like to have my logo redone. I just don't want to pay somebody in the States to do it. I'd rather find somebody Canadian that can do it. And I've tried to figure out Inkscape, but oh my god, so frustrating. Hate it. So if I one day get determined enough, I will figure it out so that I can create my own. I do want to keep the poppy theme. So I added the poppy as kind of a homage to my dad. He passed away very suddenly, November 11th of 2016. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So the poppy is for him. I have a tattoo on my back, which is actually my profile picture. I like strong women too. My mom's kind of the same way, and she's had her struggles since losing my dad, but she's still a very strong woman that I admire, and she went through a lot of crap before she met him. So I'm proud to say that she's my mom and that I take after her. Almost done. Thank you. It was quite the shock. He wasn't sick. He had 2 medicals that year, and both doctors cleared him to go back to work. So it was very unexpected, especially when we got the autopsy results, and they kind of showed things that basically both doctors should have caught. But we also know that because they didn't catch it, it doesn't matter what happened that day, because there was some things that happened at the border, because he was a truck driver, and customs officials wouldn't approach the truck because it was in gear. It wasn't moving. It had stopped against a curb, but they still wouldn't approach the truck to help him. They waited for paramedics to get there. But we know from the autopsy, as much as that pisses us off that they didn't help him, it wouldn't have mattered. He had a massive heart attack. He was 56. The ink is really easy, and you can do so many different things with it. Like I should just make a photo album of different things that I've done with it. My Galaxy cup, which I'm not overly thrilled with, didn't quite go as I had hoped. I've done that, and it's basically lighter colors underneath, and then I went over top of it, most of it with a black ink. And then you use alcohol to kind of lighten spots. I'm really not thrilled with it. It's my daughter's cup. She said she likes it, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm actually going to add her star constellation sign to the opposite side. And she's fine with that. Plus I've done ones that I'll use a couple different colors and blot them on, or a single color, and then I have some rubbing alcohol, and it's only the 70%. Some people say you have to have the 91%. I don't, and it still works fine. but I put it in just a spray bottle, and I will, from far away, spray it, and it kind of speckles, which looks really cool too. So there's that paint run. I'm going to purposely add some ink there. So that it's hopefully not as obvious. And I'm going to blot at the top there to try to make it less obvious. So there, now it's basically disappeared. And once the epoxy is on, you won't even see it. The inks I did get at Michael's, but actually, there's a Canadian site that I just found recently that she sells the alcohol inks, and she sells them cheaper than Michael's. Michael's, you're looking at $18 for a pack of 3. And you don't get to pick what colors are in the packs, which is kind of annoying. But shadesofclay.com. She has alcohol inks, and I believe they're $13. And I think that's for the packs. I'd have to go back and look again. I haven't been on the site for a little while, but when I am getting low, that's probably where I'm going to order them from. Because unless I have a coupon, I really don't like shopping at Michael's. I find it so expensive. That looks better too. I'm just noticing I've got some bare spots where the white's showing through, so I'm just going to go back and now I just kind of assess where would a knot look good and kind of play around. And I think I'm going to put one a bit further down because they've all been further up, but now it wants to run. And then I just lightly kind of pull at it. Yeah, I thought about doing my own inks, but who has time for that? I honestly don't have time for that. Like, well, I might have more time now that we apparently are losing our jobs. Good thing my husband has this other job that takes him on the road, but it's not full-time either. But aside from what would normally be my work, I'm at my mom's twice a week, just to check in and see how she is, and she only lives 20 minutes away. And I did that even before my dad passed away. We're just a very close family. My mom is one of 10. Only 7 are still alive, but they've always been a very close family. So my family is everything. So yeah, I spend 2 nights a week at my mom's. Go down and visit. Hang out with her and the dog. My youngest has a rare incurable disease. It's not life-threatening. We don't really know a whole lot about it. I could try to say what it's called, but I can't pronounce it. That's I guess the joy in crap like that. I call it Sierra What, because I can't pronounce it. She's only been diagnosed since June. That took almost 2 years to get a diagnosis. She started having leg pain to the point where there's days that she looked like a 100-year-old woman trying to walk around the house. She didn't want to walk. She was in so much pain. So it took finally having an MRI done by neurology, and they found a cyst in her spinal cord. It's not a tumor. It's just filled with fluid. But it affects her extremities. Right now she takes gabapentin, and somehow it works. Yeah, I've read that too. I've looked into it, but I'm like, I should ask my mom to look into that, because she always finds really good deals on markers, because she has a whole bunch of different adult coloring books, and she just loves to color, so I'm sure she could find me really good deals on markers. My daughter's 13, and she started having problems when she was 11, and on top of that, she has mental health issues, which we're getting under control. So hopefully my phone is charged enough, and I'll take you for a walk through my house to my cups. I don't know if the light will be good in there though, because I have a bunch of different cups, but they're all hiding in the other room. But my one foot's asleep because I was sitting on it. Oh, and I missed them. Oh no. How much ink can I get on myself? Just see some at the rim. Customer would probably never notice, but I would. Yeah, it's constantly there. Whoop! Almost fell over. It's gonna stay there. They're gonna monitor it. It's basically like a wait and see. If it grows and if she starts having more problems, then they would go ahead and figure out whether they want to do surgery or if they just want to try to aspirate it, drain it. But because it's a lifelong disease, it'll come back. Yes, I was cross-legged. That was very uncomfortable. So what am I looking for? Oh, these, because I was sanding them. Okay, so these, maybe I need to go back to the other room. I don't know. So those, I just added lines of Mod Podge, and then I sprinkled glitter. Because I wanted something that was still girly, too. I did it on a wine tumbler, too. So, and it's all how you want. Like, you could do, I guess, kind of the geode effect, but I thought the thin lines might look neat too, so I just kind of played with it and rolled with it. What else have I done with the alcohol inks? I've done these. Of course, if you've been on my page, then you already know. These are, I did my coat of epoxy, and then I dropped the inks on top. And then I used my heat gun, applied some heat to get them swirling around. The gold kind of took over on this one. The orangey color is actually watermelon, which doesn't look like watermelon on the cup, but whatever. This one, I was actually going for a beach theme, but I used the espresso, which is a very dark brown, and it just went way too dark. But to me, it's kind of a Van Gogh-esque feel to it. I just put these up on my page today. Yes, the epoxy was wet. They were turning on my spinners, and you just drop it on. And I find you have to drop at the top, but at a bit of an angle. Maybe I'll do a video of that some night. It does look like ocean waves, or like a stormy sky. Like I do really like it. It just wasn't what I envisioned, but I love that with alcohol ink, when you're dropping it into the epoxy, you never actually know for sure what you're going to get. It is a lot of trial and error, and chances are if I try to duplicate this, I won't be able to. That's one thing I try to tell my customers, is that when you get a cup, especially if you're doing these swirl cups, it's going to be one of kind. I will probably never be able to create that exact same look again. This one is my favorite. It reminds me of like a satellite photo of the weird... There's only one motor. It kind of like a faraway satellite photo. This one was three colors, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, the orange one. Well, I say it's orange. My husband claimed this one. He said he had a dream one night that I told him I couldn't sell cups. I had to keep them all because they were too nice. And then my daughter had a ringette tournament and they were away, and I did those cups. And I sent him a picture and he's like, "Oh, I love it." He's like, "I want that cup." And I'm like, "But we're not allowed to keep the cups. You said we can't keep them. I have to sell them." So now I poke fun at him. So yeah, I only have one motor. It is kind of choppy. He has some adjustments to do. Like it pops out the other side here. You can't see the other side because I can't pull the table out right now. These all pop off, which I can't do with one hand. Yeah, I told him he could pay for it. I said, if you really want it that bad, I said, or maybe I could be nice and give you a discount. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I want to give discounts to the spouse. He did build my turner, but it took him 2 months of me whining about it. I think that's all I really have in here. There's all my alcohol inks that I have so far. Way too many of them. 3, 6, 9, 12 of them. The white, not the white so much. The black and the gold really tend to take over. Oh, there's the Galaxy cup that I don't like how it turned out. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch videos again. It's in the Cup Teresa's group. I'm gonna have to watch her video again. It's one of the Ashleys. And work on this. My daughter loves it. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna add her constellation to the back, which she thinks is cool. Oh, see, here's one. This is actually glass. Yes, he will come back for more deals. So I added wild plum, I think, and then I sprayed it with alcohol. So then it kind of went blotchy, but I thought it was different. This one's actually, it is glass. It's going to be a makeup brush holder. I just haven't gotten around to it. So yeah, this is the room that I want to be my craft room. But see, he sits on this couch and he watches TV. Or he goes for a bike ride. He's a lot more active than me. He works out enough for both of us, so that's okay. He keeps asking if I want to go for a run with him, and I said, No. Yeah, I think that's all I have to show. I'll sign off. I will do a quick video of those 2 cups, and I'll add them to the comments so that people can see what they look like not on the live. And I'll let you go to bed, Kimberly. It's only 20 after. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. As long as I can run faster than the other person that's being chased, that's really the only time I run. I don't really care. I don't mind walking. And my 13-year-old, because of her legs, even with the medication controlling the pain, she's still not a very active girl. So we'll walk. You're welcome. My 15-year-old likes to run, so she can run with Dad. He likes to run longer than she does, so there ends up being a problem there too, but it all works. So I'm going to sign off, and I will do quick videos of these 2 cups so that people can see the finished product. And I'll say goodnight. Bye, Kim.